Over to our guys on the analyst desk.
Thank you, gentlemen. And guys, I think we have to tip our caps to the sub squad of TDK because both last week and today, they have really stepped up. Those three individuals in particular, having had very little experience on this stage and at this level. I just want to commend them, one, on their efforts there.
Absolutely. I mean, it goes to talk about a couple of different things. So one being that there are a lot of very good players out there in North America that aren't on LCS teams right now. We're seeing their duo lane hold up quite well. They're on a challenger team that failed to make it to the challenger series. You saw Bishi run around and do quite well. His solo kill on Phoenix last week was really awesome. Like, there are a lot of good players out there, and we're in the first half of the split. And even though Dignitas held their lineup together, it just feels like a lot of the teams got rusty again at the very when we started out the summer split here, and that kind of closes the gap between a sub squad and an LCS team where the shot calling differences aren't quite as stark. Even look at teams like Gravity where like Buddy had to go relearn everything because they need a new shot caller, even though that's their full starting lineup. So this is the kind of world we're in where these sub squads will make it look very close. Yet again, laning phase looked pretty good, and then they slowly got outplayed as time went on.
Well, I think that's the important thing to note here is that Dignitas did look in control for the majority of the match. Really, the only hiccup was that Kez Baron steal, and you can only do so much about that when the Gragas comes over the wall and it's 50-50 smite.
Yeah, I do think there's several things Team Dignitas can improve on. Like, for instance, Shifter, yes, Bishi played well, but he was on his ear and he lost his turret fairly early on in the game on a champion that should be able to defend the turret much more easily. So, like, Dignitas, they've had a very strange first three games. They got basically perfect game by CLG, then they perfect game at Cloud9, and then they have this really competitive game against TDK, who should be the worst team currently in the LCS with the sub squad, and it was a really close game. So I think there's a lot of learnings they can take away from this one, but they should be happy with the win.
From a morale standpoint, this has to be a big boon to them, starting the season off 2-1 with the roster that they decided to stay with.
It's great to start off 2-1.
Yep.
Right? So that's one of the better starts of all the teams.
All right, yeah, exactly. So Dignitas with the 2-1 sitting near the top of the table. That being said, let's pull up the standings to see how the teams are shaking out. Tied for first, once again, it's CLG and Team Liquid with a perfect 3-0 start. Gravity, Team Dignitas, and TSM are sharing third place, followed by Cloud9, Enemy, and Impulse in sixth. In ninth, it's another tie with Teammate and TDK with 3 losses. Now, we'll be back again tomorrow with 5 more matches, starting with Cloud9 versus Team Impulse. After that, Team Liquid will face off against their former sister team, Gravity. Then get ready for the game of the week. It's El Clasico as CounterLogic Gaming battles Team Solo Mid. That will hit your browsers starting at noon Pacific Daylight, 9 p.m. Central European Summertime. And looking ahead to next week's schedule, be sure to tune in Tuesday and Wednesday for the European and North American Challenger Series qualifier finals. You can catch that at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight to check out the stars of tomorrow as they begin their journey to the LCS. Now, earlier this week, we announced the locations for the upcoming European and North American Summer Split finals. On August 22nd and 23rd, the LCS coverage goes on the road with our European counterparts heading to Stockholm, Sweden. And for the North American finals, we're heading to the Big Apple, and we'll be setting up in historic Madison Square Garden. Check back on lolesports.com for all the information on how you can pick up tickets later this month. Now, for myself, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.